You know how we get down. Yeah, the way we gon' work it out.
I am Pastor Julius, and this is my lovely wife,
Lady Ashante.
and we got some really good information that we want to share with you guys called Let's Make Marriage Great Again. A discussion. It's called called Let's Make Marriage Great Again. A discussion. It's called
Another rendition, edition, episode EP. MMGA. Make marriage great again.
What up, y'all?
She's somber. She's still upset from the last episode. If y'all haven't watched the last episode, make sure you go back and tap into it. And it'll give you an insight as to why her face look like that right now.
My face looks like what?
No, you just, so over it, so somber.
I'm just here for the great conversation we're going to have today on the couch.
Well, let's dive in. Let's dive right in.
Great.
Is there any preliminaries you'd like to discuss before we dive in, or would you like to do some sort of podcast etiquette since there's some etiquette when it comes to podcasts?
I don't want to control any narratives.
Or do you want to just dive in? Because it's up to you.
No, it's totally up to you.
No, it has to be up to you because you're the one who, has the thought processes around everything.
No, I don't want to control any narratives since I'm such a narrative controller.
Ooh, narrative controller.
So here is this narrative controller relinquishing all her power.
Relinquishing control?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You'd be willing to do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I always do.
I'll have that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So guys,
let's
dive into
you always
today.
have control all the time.
Let's dive into the topic. We got a few different ones we want to tap into today. That I think is gonna be good for your listening ears.
And for their viewing pleasure.
And for your viewing pleasures. See, I like that. I like how you came in with that.
Was that controlling the narrative?
No, that was adding to. That was making the narrative great.
Oh, so I see what has to happen. So you control the narrative and I just help you.
No, because there are times when I add to. There are times when you add to. Don't try to turn this into some patriarchal debate because I've seen the angle that you were bending.
I was just asking a question.
No, you were getting ready to get ridiculous. I sensed it. I nipped it in the bud. Okay.
So who's controlling the narrative right now?
I did that. I did. Because I seen what you were doing. You were going down an unfair direction.
If you say I was.
Yeah, I agree.
No, sure, world boss.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So here's the thing here. Can you still be friends with the opposite sex as a married woman?
Yeah. I think that, again, this is all relative to the relationship with your spouse, and I believe it is also contingent on the relationship that you had with the other person.
Yeah.
So opposite sex, I have friends that are the opposite sex that you know very well. You've gone out of town and spent time with them. I've never had sex with them.
Yeah.
So I think that is what makes that a line of comfortability, that they don't know your wife.
Let me ask you this question. Is there a thin line between disrespect in a platonic relationship with the opposite sex as a married spouse and insecurity?
Oh yeah.
On the end of the spouse who's having a problem with it.
Oh yeah, I think disrespect is defined by boundaries. So I think once a boundary has been communicated, because I can't be disrespectful if I don't know what you want me doing or not.
Right.
Once I know, then I can be disrespectful.
Right.
I think what was the other thing that you said?
Or is it disrespect, or is it I forgot that.
Was it like self-esteem?
Yeah, insecurity.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
So the insecurity on the spouse, again, I think that once standards and boundaries are discussed, and then there's still something there, I think that it can start to tap into the insecurities of the man or woman.
Maybe even depending on some of the boundaries that the insecure person set. So it's like, wow, like you don't want me doing that. Like that's not in any way disrespectful. You're just very insecure.
Yeah, like if I've had a friend for 20 years
Right.
prior to me meeting you.
Right.
And you come in and you're like,
Cut that off.
cut that off. Like, bro, me and this dude have never been intimate, or like he's a family friend, or I grew up with him since elementary. He's my best friend.
Right.
And then my spouse comes along and he's like, cut him off or cut her off. That's unfair.
That could be the ingredients for toxicity starting.
Absolutely.
And so how do you in that moment like even help them see that what you're communicating, bro, is an insecurity, and it's not a boundary, it's an insecurity that's being almost camouflaged as a boundary.
Well, I think first of all, the other person has to be introduced properly. So if you're dating someone and you do have this for real best friend, then that best friend has been introduced, that best friend is around.
Right.
And then once that happens, there's communication of, hey, I don't really want her over the house when I'm not here. Like those things can begin to, and for me, these are my marriage, whatever your spouse is communicating and I always say this, whether you want to do it or not, you do it.
And so like, while I do like understand and I guess agree to a certain degree, but at what point though does that spouse need to take a look at what could be an insecurity that's being communicated? Because if I'm laying out all of these boundaries, I'm laying out all of this stuff, and then you're under the inclination that whatever I communicate, you're supposed to adhere to just because we're married. At what point is it like, man, wait a minute?
I think it's uncomfortability. So if I say to you, hey, I'm uncomfortable with you talking to this individual every day, all day. I'm uncomfortable with that. I think that you're like, okay, so now if I come in like, hey, don't talk to them ever again. Those are two completely different. It's a conversation. Like, okay, so what would you be comfortable with then?
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'll be comfortable with, once in a while or once every couple of days, or those are the things that have to be worked out. It's the context of what's going on. Is the best friend coming over the house, or the brother or the sister? Are they coming over the house only when you're not home? You know what I'm saying? Or are they coming over all the time? Do you have a separate relationship with this individual? You know what I'm saying? I think there's so many things that come into play that would really begin to dig into, why am I insecure? Maybe I'm insecure because you talking to the person all day, every day, or you're secretly talking to them, or they're only coming around when I'm not around, or you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a relationship. And so I'm kind of on the outside of this friendship. And so maybe that's why I'm insecure. I don't know if insecurity is something that we just have, or is it something that is birthed out of a situation?
It could be birthed out of a previous situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that person was in a relationship before, and the person who they were in relationship was claiming that it was their friend. Come to find out, they was in some sort of sneakiness.
I've seen it. I've been a part of it, to where I was dating a guy and there was this young lady, and even when we were dating, that's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's my best friend, that's my best friend. Always in the back of my mind, I was like, she is in love with him. And he brought her around and we would interact, and she would text me, and it was always right here of, she was in love with him. And years later, I had gotten married, and we went to a wedding of a mutual friend, and that was his baby's mom. And I said to myself, like, I knew it. I knew the whole time that she was in love with him, even though he kept presenting her like, oh no, this is my best friend. We've never done anything. This has been my best friend through all my girlfriends. I knew that young lady loved him. So
here's my question. Is it fair for you then to be able to take that experience that your gut feeling proved to be right? Right? Is it fair for you to take that experience and then create a boundary in your next relationship based upon your previous experience? Watch this. And should I then have to understand and be okay with that boundary as your new man, as your new, you know what I mean? Should I look at that and be like, well, man, I can understand why, she don't want me to talk to my best friend who's a woman because of her previous relationship?
No,
I mean?
that is, first of all, it's unfair, because you and him are two different people, right? And your best friend and that girl are two different people.
Right.
I think that there is wisdom though to be like, okay, this is familiar, been through this before, and maybe use some things that I've learned, aka gut feeling and gut instinct, discernment. When you know.
So basically, what you're saying is this on you? To where if you're getting that same feeling that you felt back then,
Yeah,
it's on you to not try to force me to, I think, behave how you want me to behave.
Yeah,
or
because now
do-
that's controlling.
and it's on you to just exit the relationship. Then, if it's that much of a situation
No.
going on,
I
to where
wouldn't say
your
that.
gut is like that.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say for me, if my gut is telling me that, it's for me to manage the situation with the best friend.
But how do you manage that? If I'm basically telling you, what I'm telling you, Ashante, is this is my best friend. I'm not about to stop the way that we communicate. We're upfront with it. I'm not about to stop that. That is something that you're dealing with based upon a previous experience, and it's not fair for you to bring that into this. And so you're going to need to deal with that however you see fit.
So if I come to you and I say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with the level of y'all's conversation or what's being discussed, and I'm being very vulnerable, and you're basically telling me, screw me, that's a you problem.
Yeah, if I'm not saying screw you, but what I'm saying is
You are saying that.
Well, what I'm telling you is I don't feel like it's fair for you to come in and control the narrative of how me and Susie have been interacting over the past 20 years. Because this is my friend. And I don't feel like that's fair. And so I'm not saying screw you, but what I'm saying is I really think you need to take a look at why you're coming in trying to set these boundaries or why you feel uncomfortable. I don't feel like that is a me or a Susie thing. I do feel like that is a you thing.
And I think that that's extremely ridiculous when you're talking about being in a relationship that's full of reciprocity, especially if you're talking about a spouse.
Okay.
Because the question was about spouses, right?
Well, it was, can you still be friends with the opposite sex, basically? I think.
But we're talking about in marriage.
We went to spouses
marriage
because-
communication on what couples argue about. So we're talking about a married couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no way that you are going to tell me that.
And so this is
Now, because we're not talking about me bringing in a past anything. This is just me being who I am. Never been through that situation, right?
Right. Take away all of the everything.
Yeah, no. If I come to you and I'm saying, hey, Stephanie's over here too much when I'm not home.
And I'm uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable with that.
Anything like that. What I'm saying is that makes me uncomfortable.
And if your response to me is, well, I've been dealing with her like this for 20 years and that's a you problem.
Right.
Oh, we gonna fight. Fight.
I agree. But I think the issue would be is like, it will probably never progress to that if this is something new. Right? If this is something new, it will probably never progress to that.
If
my relationship with her is something new, there's no way I'm going to introduce a woman that I'm just fresh in a relationship with into a 10-year marriage and she coming over and stuff and you're not home.
Oh, no.
Right? So, but what I'm saying is what if I'm like, well, Shantae, she been coming over the whole time. We've been friends since before we got married.
Right.
And now
all of a sudden you are married now.
Right.
And so now what you used to do, some things you just can't do anymore.
And so what I would then what the pushback was is, why does the fact that we said I do now make you uncomfortable? We were already committed before we said I do.
So you're playing devil's advocate, and I hate when you do this.
I'm trying to provide some good content for our viewing audience.
It makes my heart rate go up.
Does it?
Yes.
That is a you thing.
Okay. Like I said, when it comes to marriage, you cannot have your spouse come to you and express to you that they are concerned or something is making them uncomfortable, and for you to be very selfish and say, well, this is how I've always done it, or this is how it's always been, and so this is the way it's going to be.
So I think the answer is yes, you can be friends with the opposite sex And I think it's all relative because everybody's marriage relationship is different.
Yes.
I think it's all relative, and I think that you need to basically really like be sensitive to the feelings and the thought processes that your spouse
Yeah,
has
like
around.
can't no dude from high school hit me up and all of a sudden me and him is best friends.
Right. Oh, this Johnny from.
And you're looking at me like, I've been married to you for 10 years. We've been together almost 12 years. I've never seen Johnny. And now all of a sudden, Johnny's around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. We were best friends in high school. You've been graduated 20 plus years.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, Johnny then slid in your DM and talking about let's reconnect and you and Johnny reconnecting.
No.
What?
No way.
No way. Like, that is not. Now, if you say, hey, I went to college with this girl named Amber, her husband Antonio and her want to have dinner with us. That's different.
That's different.
But Amber and y'all can't go out by yourself.
Right. No way.
No way.
Our moms are best friends.
I don't give a. Amber cannot slide in your DM and go, oh my God, Julius, I remember you from Akron.
Why she have to talk like that?
Because I just feel like anybody dealing with you in college would have talked like that. Oh my God, Julius, it's Amber from Akron. You want to go grab lunch? And if you say yes, I'm wringing your neck, bro.
Wow.
Like, and you not tell me about it.
Right.
I'm wringing your neck.
Okay. Next question.
Yep.
So here we go. The
Like
next
this.
one is how much time should you spend as a married person with your single friends?
Oh, that's such a good question, man.
And is there some sort of, because here's what
I've been blackballed out of my friendships because I was single and they were married.
Right, so they did the opposite with you, right? Because they were looking at you like
I was public enemy number one.
Something you were going to taint their union somehow. Your singleness was going to taint their union.
Yeah,
and that's what I almost see like being communicated even in that question. It's like, so what's happening in those moments when a married person is hanging with their single friends?
I think it's insecurity. Like, to be honest with you, I think that there is insecurity. Because, I mean, now let's be clear. Single women do things that married women don't do. Single women are trying to get a husband.
If that's
maybe that's or they want a mate, or they want to have sex, or whatever it is, they're trying to get the attention of.
And not even necessarily trying to get the attention of, they're just available.
Right, and married women are not available, so the behavior is different.
Yeah.
The behavior is different. My behavior when I go out with my single friends, I was around a bunch of single people on Saturday night.
Right.
My behavior is much different than theirs.
Right.
Right? Also, I don't drink alcohol, so my behavior is automatically different.
Right.
They're in there trying to get chose. I'm chose.
Is that what you felt like was going on?
Oh no,
there?
they was trying to get chose.
Really?
Absolutely. They was trying to get, the light then went out.
Lord Jesus. Y'all got to work with us. It's real. This is real life. So
because his phone rings, so the light can go out.
We good.
So they was trying to get chose, and drinks is flowing, they twerking, dresses is super short.
And how were they dressed?
Now hear me. There was a married couple in there, beautiful couple. He was fine, she was fine. Her split came all the way up, baby. She was bodied.
And she was dressed how?
Very provocatively, but she was with her husband.
Right. What about the other women in there?
Provocative, like out, putting it on because they want to get chose. So I'm looking at the married couple and I'm watching them and they're dancing and they grinding on each other. They're having a good time.
Right.
With her husband.
Healthy.
And there was other men looking at his wife and he knew it.
Of course.
And he was, I think he liked it. Like, yeah, you see me?
Yeah.
You see me? She can dance right there.
And
he went over there and got him drinks and she was sitting there twined in and them men was looking and he came back with 2 drinks. Like, here you go, boo. He knew that they was in there looking at his wife.
Of course.
So for me, see, like, why do you like that? Like, why do you like that? Like, right now, as a man, like a pride thing?
Like, you don't want nobody looking at your wife like, Who wants?
So as a man, it feels good for other men to look at your wife like, yeah. David is shaking his head. Yeah, it feels good.
Affirmation of your wife's beauty from other people, men, women, whatever.
Oh, you said beauty, but it could be booty.
It could be booty. That booty
It could be boobies.
That booty has beautifulness.
Okay. Booty, you just, all right.
I made a little something up.
All right.
Yeah, and
But
your booty, it's your beauty.
No, it'd be booty, because sometimes the face don't match. Anyway, to answer your question, and your question was how much time. For me, I think it's one of those things, man. Like, you know your wife's friends. You know your wife's friends, and you know your wife.
I think that's the better one.
You know your wife.
I think that's the better.
And so if you know your wife, the one friend, and you know she ain't gonna do nothing. She going there to have a couple glasses of wine and laugh and chat for some hours. Or you know the one she going over there, she's super toxic, she hates men, she's always negative. You may not want your wife in that environment with that friend. And then on the flip side, you know your wife, and you know your wife has some tendencies to maybe get a little loose. And that may be what you're trying to protect as well.
Yeah.
And so for me, how much time, that's a conversation. I think that, same as women. Women know the friend that ain't no good for your husband.
I think the clear.
He got him out there and he like, look at her.
Look, see that booty, John?
Right.
Yeah, and John looking like, oh, snap.
And your wife know that friend, like, I don't want you to really spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah, and then he's saying, but that's him. And
he's putting you in situations.
When I got married, I did not become blind. Is it not okay for me to see a booty and acknowledge it without going any further?
Yes and no. I feel like when you have friends that don't respect marriage and don't respect your marriage, I feel like as soon as that door is cracked, that door can be blasted open. All it needs is a small crack.
Or respect the boundaries. And I think that's what it has to be clearly defined. And that's where, like, there's a trust factor that comes into play.
Yeah.
Like, do you trust your husband's friend to not put him in a position to cross the boundaries that you all have set? And part of the issue is that those boundaries that you and your spouse have created, y'all, have not been communicated to the friend.
And it's up to you to communicate that to Johnny.
To the friend, like,
yeah.
Nah, man, like, yeah, we can go out, bro, but you know what I'm saying? Like, certain things, bro,
or in that moment, be like, chill, bro.
Yeah.
You know I'm married.
Right.
Like, that goes a long way. Like,
Yeah.
bro, chill. You know I'm married.
Yeah.
And Johnny would be like, nigga.
You turn soft.
Yeah.
You said I do.
And that's fine. Let him say that. But it's like, I think that you have to be able to communicate that to the friends. Like, yeah, we about to go on this girl trip. We about to, like, okay, so y'all trying to get Negroes to buy y'all around the drinks. I'm gonna use my husband's American Express card to buy mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't need, and I think that is like separating the fact that I'm not having no man buy me no, you know what I'm saying, no round of drinks, or I'm not doing that. I'm not having no man come up. I'm not doing that. I am a married woman.
And this is why they say that marriage is hard work, y'all. Because think about this. Like, who has ever had that conversation with what we just said when it comes to even men buying drinks? You with your girls, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all having a good time. Nothing ill is on your mind. You are going on a little yacht situation with your friend.
You in Miami.
Who's her birthday.
Yep.
Y'all in Miami.
Yep.
And it's some other guys there because there are single women there.
Yep.
And you've never even thought about how would that make my husband feel if I allowed this man, or if he found out that this man was buying me drinks.
Yep.
Would he care? Because some men would be like, I don't care. Like, it ain't no big deal.
They had this thing on social media where this man that had asked the question, like, would you, as a man, would you care if a man bought your wife's groceries? And some men was like, yeah, nah, don't. She know not to do that. Another man was like, man, bro, if you want to feed me, like, you're feeding me. But other men were like, no, sir.
It depends on the perspective, because some men really view it could almost be like a patriarchal. It could be patriarchal. It could be, but a lot of men look at the fact like they're the ones that are supposed to be providing that for their spouse.
But I mean, even a drink, for me, like, men so slick.
Oh yeah.
Like, you ain't buying, like, you see that ring on her. I have my whole ring on. And this one dude came up to me and said, when I was in Chicago, he said, "Tell your mom and dad thank you." And he didn't see my ring. And then I had to like, I am married. And he was like, and much respect to your husband. Like, much respect to your husband.
And my thing is when he doesn't know, that's totally game. He didn't see, he didn't know. You might have been like this. And then he popped on, and then once he acknowledges it and gives
then it's respect.
I mean, that's fair game. He didn't know.
He didn't know, but I still feel like when you see a woman at a bar and you see her ring on and you offer to buy her a drink anyway, that's just disrespectful.
Well, that's not what you said, but I agree with you, but that ain't how he did.
No, that's not how he did, but going back to the drink thing, I think it's just disrespectful. If you see a man with a wedding band on and he's at the bar, you don't go send him a cognac.
Yeah.
Because what are you communicating in that moment?
I see you.
See, that's that bull crap. That's how you get your neck wrung.
I see you down there.
It's like this.
I see.
You ring it like a washcloth.
I saw you down there. That's what you communicate.
That's what you're communicating.
Yeah.
And so as a wife, if I'm like, you come home and you tell me if you drink what you don't, but if you came home and be like, yeah, I was at the bar and this girl bought me, I'm like, and you took it?
And you would be upset with me for taking it?
Oh my God, because I know what she's communicating.
So you're saying the reception of her offered gift,
yes, sir,
is me communicating something back?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying something back. I'm saying, all right.
Yes. If that bartender would have came to you and been like, hey, look, the young lady down there wants to buy you a drink, your response should have been, no, thank you. Tell her I'm okay.
And that again is something that needs to be communicated if y'all go out.
Or even you could be at work and somebody on your, I've had these conversations. Women will bring food in and be like, here, I made you this, I made you some food. I know some men would be like, I'm not allowed to eat that.
Or what about this? Let me ask you this. If your supervisor, who's a woman, brings in donuts for the team.
That's different.
That's different.
That's for the team.
That's for the team.
Now, if your boss come in and she like, here, I know this is your favorite donut.
Yeah, I know it's your favorite.
Ooh.
I got everybody else glazed, but I know you. The question is
ooh, that's tough.
Yeah. I know this is your favorite. I thought about you as a, in that type of way. Not like, I know this is your favorite.
No, I mean, now, if she's like a 5-foot dwarf librarian looking, married to Steve for the past 50 years.
She looked good. And she like, I just brought you this. I know we were talking on one day. You said, Creamfield was your favorite. So I thought about you.
Is she single?
She's married. We know that don't matter. Let's be clear.
I mean, it don't because there's entanglements that happen all the time at work. That's good. I mean, I think discretion on the end user, whether or not your boss is on you or not, or whoever, whoever is on you. We're not dumb.
Okay, so that's good, y'all. Let me ask you this question.
Oh, God.
Are conversations with the ex still okay?
Oh, no. Married? Oh, I don't want to cuss in front of the saints. No.
Huh?
No, absolutely not. For what?
I mean, just
unless y'all have a child together, there's no reason why you on the phone.
Just to catch up.
I'm letting y'all know right now. Absolutely not. Even in your situation, you have a whole child.
I do.
And I was very clear when communicating with the mother of your child. You didn't need to be on the phone shooting the breeze.
Right.
For what?
Right.
Talking about the kid, make sure she's okay, make sure the baby's mom, are you okay? Y'all good? Okay. Bye. Like, I don't need to be on the phone with you talking about like, yeah, man, I seen Sam, man, what's going on? How you been? For what?
And so what you're saying is anything stemming from our previous life can no longer be a point of conversation.
It doesn't need to be.
Aside from the daughter.
Correct.
Nothing.
Y'all don't, correct, because
no mutual friends.
I mean, like, if you seen somebody.
Johnny died, and that was our friend when we was together.
In those extreme situations, yes. But to keep calling and wanting to stay on the phone and wanting to just talk.
Trying to find points of connection.
Yeah, no.
That's that bull crap.
That's that bull crap. Because you don't have no points of connection anymore. Those are over with. Now, Johnny died. It's like, dang, I want to let you know I seen Sam and Johnny die. Like, oh, that's crazy. Like, yeah. And we're done.
Right.
But I'm just calling like, well, I haven't talked to you in a while. Well, Dad, you ain't supposed to be.
Right.
You ain't supposed to be. I got a whole wife. You're not supposed to be talking to me in a while. Like,
Right.
you know, and now that your daughter is about to be 16, you're having a direct conversation with her. It's like, well, anything I really want, I'm really talking to her directly. You know what I'm saying? She almost old enough to drive here if we need her to.
Yeah.
So that kind of gets slimmer and slimmer.
It does.
So conversation with the ex, no.
No way.
No.
Absolutely not.
And do we have property together? Do we have children together? Those are like the only two things we need to be talking on the phone about.
Right.
Like, was it a divorce and we owned a house and I'm talking to my ex-husband to get this escrow account handled?
Yeah.
You know, or I'm talking to my baby's dad to get our sons together?
Yeah.
No. I mean, he's just calling me to check up on me. I don't need you to check up on her, boss. She good.
Where we at, David?
We're done.
About that time. Y'all listen, man.
I like this episode.
You like this episode?
I like stuff like this.
Okay.
I don't like when I feel like doing this to you.
Well, you shouldn't. You should control that.
No.
Don't feel that way.
You shouldn't
Just
say
make the
things that make me feel
decision
that.
to not feel that way.
Why is it always on me? I need to find other words. I need to control. What do you need to do?
I mean, there's plenty of adjustments I need to make. Clearly.
What's that famous tap dancer called that was on Sesame Street when we were little?
I don't know.
I'm going to figure out his name because that's who you are. You tap
Name
dance.
calling now?
You tap dance.
Oh, name calling.
Like you see a situation, you go.
I just operate with wisdom.
Is his name Danny? What's his name? I'm going to
Listen,
figure
y'all,
it out.
It's time to.
What
close
is
this
it?
here.
No, it's like this famous guy that used to tap dance on Sesame Street. He has. That is it, Mr. Glover. That's why I thought it was Danny Glover. That's you.
All right. I'll see. I'll take that.
Tap,
I'm not gonna
tap,
receive it.
tap
but
dance.
I'll take that on, and it's okay because if you
Tap,
dish
tap,
out,
tap, tap,
then
tap.
it's coming back.
Tap, tap, tap,
Y'all,
tap,
this has been good, man. Another episode in the books.
It was good. I like this stuff. I like to talk about what married people really be going through.
Absolutely.
And they really be going through. This is some serious stuff that has ended marriages.
Absolutely. It's going to end up ending more if we don't talk about it.
Right.
You know, it's going to mess around and end something right here.
What?
If we don't talk about what's going on.
I done already.
Get your
I done
finger
told you.
out of my face right now.
It's technically not in your face.
All right, y'all. This has been great, man.
Did y'all subscribe?
Did you subscribe?
Listen, subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Share it, subscribe, go to IG,
Yes.
Make Marriage Great Again Podcast, MMGA Podcast on Instagram.
On Instagram, MMGA Podcast. On Facebook, Make Marriage Great Again Podcast.
And follow all of it. We got some exciting stuff coming down the pike, and I want you to be a part. Bye, y'all.